I'm Juan Mendieta, News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD. Now back to Sick and Ruds.
So I guess he got the message, too, that you don't like him.
What are you talking about now? You know, you are right away the...
Jean Provocateur.
Exactly.
No, I'm not.
Thank you very much.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to get you on the straight and narrow path.
Juan knows. Juan, how do I feel about you?
We're tight, man.
No, you're not.
We are.
Yeah. I'm not talking about your sexual relationship.
Exactly. Well, you don't know,
your...
My what?
You think that he's boring.
I do not.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
What?
Juan, I can do this without moving my lips. Go ahead. What do I think of him?
No, I'm telling you. Okay. Lie some more.
I don't.
Start in again. You see, you have this fetish with Chuck Meyer, and he's like the role model for the news person that you think is going to put you over the top.
Can we do a different show
today? No, this is an extension. We're not finished. That was only the beginning. We're not finished.
You know, I would pay for a counselor. I don't need somebody to come in and tell me what I have fetishes with,
yes,
who I like and who I don't like.
You do need
that. No,
that.
you're wrong.
Yes, you do.
I don't need that.
You have to get rid of the scapegoating. You have to.
Scapegoating from what?
You must get rid of the Chuck Meyer ghost. You have to separate Chuck is not coming back.
All right, Dr. Neil
Skinny
Schlesinger.
Chuck,
okay,
the
go
fat
ahead.
Chuck.
Right.
That's right, Dr. Laura Neal.
Right.
On your knees.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, Chuck's not coming back.
I think I've dealt with that.
When you get into the afternoon and come Friday at 5 or 5:20, he will not be coming into James Bond with you,
All right,
okay?
let me see if I can cope with this.
He's
okay.
Nobody will ever measure up to him, to that great bombastic sense of humor, that stentorian voice, that big fat stomach. Nobody's ever going to quite measure up to Chuck in your mind.
Right.
So
Okay,
you'll
I've dealt with that
have to do the best that you can.
Okay. How about if Suds does the news? And then we don't have to have like any outside influences, any rotating news people.
And then the bird can come in and cackle in the background.
That would be good.
While
I would like
Suds
that.
does the news.
He would just keep saying everything's going to be okay.
Right.
Let's go to a lady in Miami. Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
How long do I have to wait?
Another 10 minutes.
10?
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll see if we can put you up in the front of the line. Let me ask, okay? Hold on. Can we put her up in the front of the line?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Let's go to a lady in Miami. Hello.
Yes, hello?
Hi.
Who's speaking?
That's what we want to know.
Is this Rick?
Yes.
Well, this is Pearl.
Hi, Pearl.
I want to tell you, Rick, I have been listening to your buddy there who isn't supposed to come on until 10 o'clock for the past
No, I hate
days.
to break the news to you, Pearl, you lovely lady, but I am supposed to come on whenever I wander in here.
I don't know
That's
who
when I'm
you
supposed
Who
to
are
come
you?
on. I'm me.
Oh, I don't know who you are.
I'm the buddy, yeah. You don't know who I am, but I'm not supposed to come on till 10 o'clock.
What is your name?
What is my name?
Mm-hmm.
Rasputin.
Well, Rasputin, you better get back in the ink bottle.
Yeah.
I want to talk to...
Rhymes with stink, which is what Rick was talking about, which I can smell you right over the phone.
Tell your friend to get back out of your... Unless you have invited him as a guest to humiliate you every single day.
Yes, he has. He called me at home and said, I want you to come in every day and humiliate me.
You're not the person I called. So please get
So in
off
other words,
the
you're
phone.
not going to recognize me, right, Pearl? It's like you can't hear the voice.
Well...
Leave her alone, Rasputin.
Bitch.
I don't know who you're calling a bitch, but I've got a good name for you, too, sir.
Do you really?
Oh,
but you're not speaking to me, though.
Would you get
but
off
I thought
the
you weren't
phone?
talking to me, so how could you call me a name when you're not speaking to me,
Well,
ma'am?
the same thing goes to you because you're not speaking to me.
Your mama?
Pearl.
Old bag.
Okay. Let's go to a lady in North Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Are you talking to me now?
We are talking to you. I think we'll put you in the front of the line next. Yes.
Thank you.
Hi.
I want to tell you, maybe he's right, Neil. That man that you have that talks peculiarly like a hillbilly.
Like a hillbilly?
Well.
Yeah, Steve Ornell.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really
By the way, he
Sundown.
died. He died.
Sundown.
Did you happen to hear Martha or Margaret was Margaret?
He's killing
dead?
them off.
Yeah.
1 by 2.
He's terrible.
Well, he doesn't want to play the. He doesn't want to pay the fare all the way out to California.
You're trying not to listen to what she's saying.
I am
this
listening.
old bag. She's
Oh,
telling
you know,
that
you
that guy is
selectively
horrendous.
want me to listen to some people and not.
Well,
I'm
no,
just
you're
talking.
only listening to what you want to hear.
What are you saying, Gilbert, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
That
No,
guy?
she's not.
What is she saying?
She's saying that jackass, which I wish I knew what his name was.
You said his name was Gilbert.
No.
Well, I don't know who you're talking
Gilbert's
about.
another asshole.
That's who I'm talking about.
Gilbert.
Gilbert.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
all
what
right.
I thought.
He does the voices?
Does he?
Okay.
All I know is as soon as I hear his voice,
okay.
I turn it off.
Okay, he'll be on a lot more now. Thank you.
I want to hear your voice, lady.
Yeah.
And not that I like Neil Rogers that much.
No, not at all. Thank God.
Well,
oh, yeah, there you go. It's an act of God.
Hello? Oh, no, now the
Did
cable's
we
out.
just get hit by a bolt?
Wow.
See that old bitch?
Yeah.
2 of them in a row. I hope that they both just got the juice.
She's gone.
Yeah.
I think that actually happened on her end.
Heavy
and
duty.
it just kind of came through here. Wow.
Woo!
That was exciting. Whoa, hang on.
She was struck by lightning. Another act of God.
We're rebooting. Hold
Erev
on.
Rosh Hashanah, and she just got, she got it.
Well, look at this. We don't need any names on the board, Adam. Don't worry. We got a full thing here. Let's go to Dade. Hello.
Wait.
Dade 1. Hold on. What? Oh, we got to wait for the thing to build up. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know.
Even that one out.
It's, yeah.
That must have been a
It's
pretty
one thing
good
to walk
jolt.
on the tightrope, but we kind of like a net once in a while. By the way, where is a net? Okay,
By the way,
here we
Dave
go.
Hyde is on drugs.
Dade, hello.
Hello, Rick.
Hello, sir.
How you doing? Sorry for if you can hear this noise in the background. I got guys working in the house.
What are they doing?
They're redoing the floors, the wooden floors.
Sanding.
Oh,
Are they sanding?
nice.
Well, I hope it'll be nice when they're
They're
done.
sanding.
No, it'll be
Can't
nice.
you hear that they're sanding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was calling about is this morning I got an email from my daughter on American Online.
Yeah.
And the email was forwarded to her, but it was about the LexisNexis database.
Yeah.
And it's called P-Trax, one of their databases that has personal information on millions of Americans.
Right.
That is available to
Certain parties.
Yeah, certain parties,
Right.
mostly legal, and
Right.
you can get your name removed.
Yeah.
They keep track of your.
Then how would
last
people know what to
couple
call you?
What?
How would people know what to call you?
Well, who the hell? Excuse me. I mean, you don't want them to find you because it's usually for legal purposes.
Yeah.
And if
And you think getting your name removed off of that is going to stop people from calling you and bothering you?
well, it's
You're on every mailing list in the world, especially now. You're going to be called by every floor sander. Did they do a good job? Can we come out and try it again?
well this. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
This database, if I can get back to the topic for a second.
Yeah.
Is strictly for the legal community and law enforcement.
Or anybody who says they are.
Well,
I have access to it.
to the P-Trax database?
Yes, sir.
Well, they say the information they have on it includes Social Security number.
Everything. Who you've dealt with, your arrest record, if you've ever declared any bankruptcies, all your business partners, any ventures that you've ever tried, everything. It's all in there. It's like the soup.
And
Sounds like one of those Sanders has a siren on it.
well, if you call them or fax them, you can get your name removed.
Yeah.
And if any of your viewers want it, I'll give them the 800
Okay,
number.
tell our viewers. Go ahead.
It's 800
Yeah.
543
Okay.
6862.
All right, put on a mask. Okay, exactly. See, you started choking.
Yeah.
9:43 at WIOD. Let's try Broward. Hello. Broward. We don't know where you're calling
Hello?
from because all of our electricity just went out, so it's Broward and Dade. Good morning, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir, that's you.
Norm Kent suggested that I call you guys and tell you about a new store in town. It's a hemp store.
Oh, I love hamsters.
No, hemp.
Oh,
H-E-M-P,
oh.
not hemp.
No, that's what I said. I love hamsters.
Oh, okay.
Adam's one. Yeah.
Hey.
And what's it called? The hemp store?
Hemps.
Hemps. Okay. And what do they sell? Let me
Hemp.
guess. Hemp. Okay. Good
Not a
deal.
bad guess.
What kind of hemp?
Jeans,
Yeah, shirts.
fanny packs,
Right.
T-shirts.
You know what I want? I want a hemp hammock.
Don't have those.
They don't. They've got to have hemp hammocks.
Huh?
They have to have hemp hammocks.
Oh, one of those
They
hemp
have
cars,
them,
so when
but
it
I don't
starts
sell 'em.
smoking, I won't even
Yeah,
hear
well,
it.
Tell
mine.
Norm nobody's that desperate, okay?
Desperate for what?
It sounds like you've been
All
there.
right.
9:44 at WIOD. Okay, we have open lines now in Dade, 3 of them. 751 WIOD. Broward 5249463. Let's try another Broward call. Hello.
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 Am I in the air now?
Yes,
Yeah.
you are, sir.
I wanted to give you my opinion.
This is your special time for your opinion.
I've been listening to you since you were making phone calls to Mr. Bayoun.
Mr. Bayoun, yeah.
Right, that's when you
Back
got
when we
me.
were a fetus.
I thought those telephone calls were so good. That's
Yes.
when you got me, and I was a steady listener. I like
Yeah.
your show a lot.
Yeah.
The things I like the most is when you make the phone calls.
Yeah.
You do things on
Well, you see,
the
I
road.
like that, too. And, like, nobody's up in the morning, so we're going to go afternoons and try that. See if anybody's home.
you used to go out like at Golden Glades and hand out WIOD information?
Yes, sir.
I thought that was so different, so good when you want location.
Yeah. Well, now, all those tolls we paid, we want them back. We're sending them out. As soon as we get to the afternoon, we're going to go out there. We want the payback. You know what? You've heard about the payback.
What's that?
Well, I can't say it on the air, but it's coming.
Well, the negative things I have to tell you about the show are I don't care for the payphone challenge.
Okay.
And also, when Neil Rogers comes on, it's such a different demeanor to you that I think it takes away from your show, and that's when my thumb goes to shut the...
Well, I know he's going to be...
That's obvious, because I've only been here for 35 minutes, and it's obvious that you turned it right off.
Usually about 9:30 you would come on, and then when you come on, you're a whole different demeanor to Rick, the person I like, that's when I don't care for
Yes, it becomes much demeanor.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for your...
Okay, and I'll be talking to you at 10:05.
Let's go to Hollywood. Hello.
Oh, he'll be there. Who are you kidding?
Hollywood.
Hello.
Hello.
Morning.
Morning.
Hey, I live down the street from Rosa Lopez.
Yeah.
And,
today... Friday the 13th. Ah!
They block the streets. I don't believe what they do for this woman. Payphone challenge.
Yeah.
You have somebody go up, stand around, and
great
solicit
idea.
funds from the people she's soliciting funds from.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm tight with the statute for $5.
Have a bunch of little plastic...
There you go.
I bet you that Bud can probably arrange that. Get a bunch of little plastic Jesuses that we can peddle out there.
Oh, by the way, I was supposed to give you something from yesterday's meeting.
Cool.
A fish.
Yeah.
Gotta go, guys.
Okay, see you later. Let's go to Oakland Park. Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I don't know if you've gotten a Randy Rhodes spy report yet.
No.
No, you had a friend of yours, an old friend of yours, call her up and give her a whole play-by-play on what went down yesterday.
Yeah.
Your old pal Clem.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The redneck Yenta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
And?
He just went crazy, and
Wow.
Randy's pissed at you.
Too bad.
Broward!
She said you knew all about her getting married and didn't call her.
No, I did not know anything about her getting married.
She said
In addition to which, she and Jim have been living together for how many years?
Right, so who cares?
So is it like a big deal that she got married or like some major announcement? In addition to which, if I did know about it, I wouldn't have called her anyway.
Yeah, she's still
I can't. My arm isn't long enough to hold the phone that far away from my ear anymore.
She's still waiting for the wedding present.
Broward!
Yeah.
Anyway, guys.
Tell her to hold her breath.
We'll get an engineer in here and fix the equipment. We'll be okay. 947.
That whole thing, that Randy Jim thing. Oh, brother. Talk about a death wish. I have no idea what that whole thing is all about. And I don't think they do.
In regards to
anything. I just don't know what that is. I don't understand it.
It's a relationship. How can you understand any relationship?
Very bizarre.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Most are.
Okay.
It's 947 at WIOD.
What did you send her?
Away.
When you talk live on 610 WIOD, you'll be recorded, and we'll play the tape back whenever we feel like it.
9:51, 9 in front of 10 o'clock. If you'd like to get in on the remaining minutes of the show, date lines are open, 751 WIOD. Broward 524.
I hate it when that Neil comes on with that filthy mouth of his.
Don't you old farts understand? We know you're going to be there, and you're still going to be there at 10:05 and at 11:05 until you croak. You'll be out there.
But
why do you lie?
It's something to hate.
You're probably most. No, seriously, like Pearl. She's probably close to meeting her maker. If she believes in any of that crap, why doesn't she stop lying? I mean, she's like guaranteeing herself a line in purgatory.
She may have just bit the big one.
Take a number, Pearl.
Along with Margaret.
And then the other one that met me in the supermarket. Take a number, sweetheart.
Met you in a supermarket?
She started to say that, and then the lightning struck. Lou Christie came down.
I love that song.
Yeah, I love that.
And the Wipers say, together, together. Let's go to, I know. That's a stretch,
That
man.
is a great song. It's one of my
really
all-time
is.
favorite songs.
Absolutely.
The first time I ever heard that song was on WKNR in Detroit. I was driving with my chief engineer from Kalamazoo to Detroit.
Yeah.
And Jim Jeffries, who did the overnight show in Detroit, was playing Lightning Strikes by Lou Christie on Keener 13.
It's a great
which
song.
was probably one of the great rock stations in the history of the industry. In Detroit. In Southfield. No, not in wherever it was, Dearborn.
You know, do you remember when we were sitting in the office at WKXY in Sarasota, and we used to go to like those little music meetings, and he would play little samples for us, and he put on The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia.
Yeah.
And I hated that song. I said, forget it, it'll never happen. And we walked out, and for some reason I started whistling. He said, it's on. As soon as I started whistling it, it was like on. It was an instant hit. I hated it, but for some reason, and I don't know what brought that up.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
That's
it just
boring.
like triggered my. It triggered my.
As opposed to this
memory.
electrifying story I had about Keener 13 in Detroit, and you're talking
That
about
was electrifying?
WKXJ in Sarasota.
WKX.
Oh, and speaking of things that died, that stink, in in Sarasota we were on City Island, right there on the bay.
Yeah.
And a mouse or a rat got in the transmitter one time and got fried.
Yeah.
And boy, for like weeks and months, you talk about a stench. Fried rat a l'orange, man. It was disgusting.
Well, you remember at WIOD. In fact, Buddy Bud owned it then. And I think you were working there for a while.
For 2 weeks, yeah.
Well,
Never got paid either, Bud.
They were too cheap to even put the transmitter on a chassis. They just had the components laying on the floor.
Yeah. No, that wasn't.
And a snake crawled in there one afternoon.
I told you there was
Zap.
a snake sitting outside when I came to work one morning.
Yeah.
A big damn
That was
snake.
yesterday.
No, I'm not talking about in Bob Green's
Killed
office.
the
I'm
snake,
talking
knocked
about
us
out
off
in
the
front
air
of
for
the
the rest of the
building.
afternoon.
Oh, we're supposed to call Bob Dole. I'm supposed to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now,
very amusing.
Did you do you have a grease thing? A grease container? A grease trap? A jar like we were talking about?
Oh, a grease thing?
Yeah.
No.
You don't?
For what?
What do you do with grease when you fry something on the stove? What do you do with the grease?
I don't fry anything on the stove.
Never?
Once in a blue moon. And what I do is I take liquid detergent and put it in there, like dissolve it and put it down the sink.
Yeah.
Down the disposal like anybody else does.
Not anybody else.
Well, that's what I do.
Back in the days when I was cooking stuff like that, I used to have a jar with grease in it.
Right. That's what brought that up.
What do I do with the jar?
Have you ever smelled that?
I don't put it in the refrigerator.
No.
You seal it up and you put it under the sink.
Exactly. That's where ours is. But when you go to use it after it's like half full, that's the rankest
You know what
smell in
rednecks
the
do
world.
with it, don't you?
What do they do?
Well,
Put it on string beans.
No.
Bacon grease.
Sometimes.
They put it on something that might look like a string
Oh, I see.
Oh, really?
Well, it's cheaper than lard.
Let's go
and
to
a lot cheaper than Vaseline.
Miami Beach. Hello. Back at you. Can hardly a payphone?
Yeah.
The worst.
Hello,
Yell.
Testing, 1, 2,
That's
3.
okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just wanted to say regarding Who Does the News
Yeah.
for the Rick and Suds show, I say why not Jackie Quinn? I think she does a good job. The show you had earlier in the week where she got mauled by her dog. and
she got mauled by her
so
job.
as long as she can keep getting mauled by animals.
But you don't understand. Rick hates Jackie Quinn.
Really?
Yeah.
What's wrong with her?
I don't hate Jackie
Yes, you
Quinn.
do.
Oh, okay. I
You
hate
despise
Jackie
her.
Quinn. Uh-huh.
Well, how did he feel about Chuck Meyer?
He loves Chuck Meyer. He's got a blow-up doll at home.
It's got one of those little O-shaped mouths.
It's not possible that they could just like have like a sort of love-hate relationship.
Well, you know, like maybe she could wear a Chuck Meyer mask. That would be good, like a bag. Okay.
He said something about having the news called in remote from Holland and something about a finger in the dike.
Thanks, pal.
All right.
Let's go to Miami. Hello.
Hey, if you can imagine John Candy's arteries, you should see the sewers in Hialeah. Because they use so much cooking oil and it goes right down the drain.
Yeah.
And literally, there's a problem because it solidifies in the sewers.
I hadn't thought about that.
It hardens?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why you don't pour oil down the drain, because you end up with like something between Play-Doh and...
You know, you may have the analogy of the day, too, because John Candy's been dead so long, it was a nice reach.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Well, I mean, he's probably...
I mean,
still
next would be like Sebastian Cabot.
That's
There's
what
probably
Raul
a big
Martinez
three-dimensional
said.
oil
Hardens in
spot in the ground, you know?
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for pointing that out.
You're welcome.
Let's go
Or
to...
lots of...
Mobile. Hello. Hey,
Hello.
Mobile. Hello, sir.
Hello.
That's Friday. Everybody a little slow on the draw today. Speak.
Yeah, I guess we are. Comes from waiting, I guess, but I'm
Yes.
not complaining.
You'd never
happy
do
Friday the 13th.
that.
Yeah.
Back at us.
And
happy Rosh Hashanah, too, pal.
Yeah, you too, Neil. Bad smell
Yeah.
a story for you. I don't know if it ranks up with the rest of yours, but
Well, rank
I had
is
to
a
go
good
out
word.
of
Rank
town.
is the word.
Yeah.
I had to go out of town for about a week, and either the night before I left or the day I left sometime, lightning hit my freezer, and the freezer's in the garage.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
About 3 days later, I got a call from my
Nice.
daughter who was coming in to feed animals. She says, I don't know, it smells like one of the animals died, but they're all still eating, and none of them really smell bad.
Yeah, but I ain't seen Mom lately.
Yeah, she was with me.
Oh. So
when
how
I got
much?
home, I couldn't figure out what was smelling so bad, but boy, it was really, really bad.
So your meat went bad on you, huh?
Well, conch, we had fish bait,
Your
we
what?
had
Oh.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, freezer full of fish after a lightning
Well, it's like
strike.
when you
That
walk
would be
into
nice.
a supermarket and where maybe they've had the power out or something, or they've
Yeah.
had the seafood laying around too
Yeah.
long.
After a week.
Everybody has smelled that. Oh, brother.
I don't know if they smelled it after a week.
Oh, God.
It's pretty doggone bad. Anyway, listen, guys, you were talking about paying $1 for a caller.
Yes, sir.
I got paid $2 yesterday, and given a diary.
We can't talk to you, but I just
we sure do love you.
Yeah, we'll be over to wash your car.
Well, I guess the good news on Friday the 13th is that I am talking to you, so I must be listening.
There you go, pal.
Okay.
Hallmark cards, great things are coming your way.
Yeah.
And don't go near that radio dial.
Yeah, and just remember, like when a week rolls around, there's deadlines.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Well, from yesterday until next week, and I guess it's just it's a good thing that this diary is getting filled out.
Absolutely. If you were on the ballot, I'd be voting for you.
Once Ron and Ron come on, it's all over with. I don't know. If I wanted to listen to them, I'd be listening to them instead of listening to you guys a couple years ago,
There you go. All right, pal.
Have a good one.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure he is nice and finished and well done.
Yeah, don't hang up on
9:58.
him too soon.
2 in front of 10. Oh,
How's
look at
Pearl
that.
doing? Bitch.
I think she's dead.
All right.
It's and is
Boy,
Margaret
talk about smells.
Is
Oh, God.
Margaret está muerto too?
Yeah,
Muerto?
she
Is
might make a comeback. It's like soap opera
I
characters.
kind of wonder. She slammed into the side of a bridge.
And so what's wrong with the new Roger Thorpe? Why is everybody all freaked out? He's finally acting like a nice guy.
We have to say adios.
We're a ghost.
Hello, I'm the general manager of this radio station. And today is Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. In an effort to celebrate religious diversity and promote goodwill toward other faiths, we've brought in a member of the Jewish community to offer our Jewish listeners a greeting for the new year.
Hey, Happy New Year! Hey, that's it. Go home. Okay.
They're back, your favorite Jewish rock and roll nostalgia band. It's Rosh Hashanah with their greatest hits album, Sock Hop at the Synagogue.
My rabbi's back, he's gonna circumcise my baby. My rabbi's back.
Yes, Rosh Hashanah has reformed to bring you 12 kosher cuts of hop and Hebrew hijinks.
That joy isn't good for Jews.
This album should be in every Orthodox Rockers collection. Rolling Stone gives it 5 stars of David.
Who wrote the book of Job?
Sock Hop at the Synagogue, new from Rosh Hashanah. Available at all record stores. We'll talk price when you get here. Don't pass over this album.
The Hebrew.
Okay, 10:08 at WIOD. Happy Friday, Happy New Year, Happy Rosa Lopez Day on Friday the 13th, which is sufficiently sinister. It's an old man. Speaking of old people, by the way, thanks so much to all the old farts that called this morning, the 3 or 4 of them anyway.
We can't stand when you come on that show. Why don't you come on at 10 o'clock? Then we'll listen to you.
Yeah, because you're listening right now. Are you fooling somebody? Are you yanking our chain? Do you think that for 1 second I believe that any of those people are not listening right now, like hanging right onto the edge of their colostomy bag and squeezing it real tight as their teeth are fizzing louder than ever in that glass in the back of the room? Who are you kidding, man? So how about that hockey game last night, huh? 3-2, and then, of course, a couple of empty netters at the end, which made it 5-2, but the final score didn't reflect the intensity, the hysteria of the game. Curtis Joseph and Mike Richter incredible in goal, all kinds of scoring chances, all kinds of goalposts being hit there, which helped Richter out, by the way. And this is the way it should be. You know, if the thing would have ended last night, I mean, it's anticlimactic, 2 quick games and you're out. You have to have the best of 3, and so now it sets it up for tomorrow night at 8 in Montreal, Game 3 in the World Cup. And, I wasn't really rooting hard for Canada last night, even in spite of that one twerp that called the other day, especially when I found out he don't know hockey from his ass. He wouldn't know Merritt Steerheim from Merritt Doki, that guy. Isn't that great that we have, like, some new blood in there, that Cesar Odious has stepped aside, that we have Merritt Steerheim back to kick around again? Another old crony, another old flunky. Why don't we bring back Steve Clark, huh? That's what I say. Let's make him the head honcho of this town. Then there's a thing in the Herald here. No vote for the new Date Arena would delight Broward and might cost the county $3 million. Might cost some money if the public rejects the plan. Like there's some doubt here. But the best article of all about this, and by the way, Dave Hyde, you're on heavy drugs, man. I don't know what's wrong with you. What's happened to you? That thing about Mickey Arison, which I'll get to eventually. Oh, my God. Dave Hyde, I think, is the Antichrist. Ritter steps away from the fray. Tony Ritter, chairman of Knight Ritter and a key architect of the arena financing plan in Dade, said Thursday he will no longer take an active role in the arena debate. Knight Ritter owns the Herald, no doubt. I'm planning on fading into the background, he said in an interview. He said the change in role was triggered by the success of Dan Paul's petition drive. Now that it's a political campaign, I really can't be active, he said. Ritter said it would be inappropriate for Knight Ritter to participate in the election campaign. I do have a strong interest in the arena, he said, but I'm not going to have any kind of leadership role. Right, like there wasn't a conflict of interest in the first place, like there always was with the Herald, where they use their news pages to propagandize and try to put crap over on the public, like the Metro Rail. Anybody remember the way they sold us the Metro Rail? And it seems to me that Merritt Steerheim was the county manager back then in Dade County, wasn't he? Oh, my God. But now it's the great elder statesman, Merritt Steerheim, who's coming back to save the city of Miami. Right. Well, what kind of letters are those on there? What is that all about? Is that a new deal that we're like in...
it's leftovers.
In lowercase? Hello? Purple line.
Hello.
Speak to me.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
This is Arison. How you doing? Hockey Ira.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. I just wanted to let you know that the other...
Where's Pearl when we need her?
The other day when you were talking on the radio about Game 1 of the Canada Cup.
Yes.
And the caller who didn't know anything, and he said it was offsides, and you vehemently disagreed.
It was offside. It was offside. But let me also say this to you. It wasn't 3 or 4 steps offside.
No, it was a half a stride.
It was I'd say about 6 inches.
Very close.
Because if you look, you have to look at the puck, and most of these people don't really understand the rules. They're just looking at the bodies, and Brindamore did appear to be well ahead, but the puck was on the line. Yzerman had the puck on the blue line, and Brindamore tried desperately to get his skate back on the line, but was about 5, 6, 7 inches over the line. It was offside, but they blew it. They missed it.
Yeah, ESPN did a pretty good job on showcasing that.
And they showed it last night on CBC, too. They showed it.
Neil, let me ask you a question. You were... I remember back when the strike was ending, and I had said to you, I'd pay pretty much anything to go to the pro hockey games, and of course last year was unbelievable with the finals. How expensive, we hear about these outlandish prices that we have at the Fleet Center.
Yeah.
And I know that for me personally, $48 a ticket, and I buy 2 seasons tickets, is $96 a game. It's $4,100 plus parking. We haven't even started to buy a soda or eat or anything down there.
Right.
You think there'll be $75 a ticket for those seats?
Where? Not here.
No, when we get to the new arena.
No, because I don't think it's going to be all that much more, because they're going to have all the revenue from the skyboxes. I'm not going to say that they're ever going to lower the price, because I'll never believe that.
Right.
But I don't think they'll have to jack them way up, because they'll have all the revenue from the skyboxes and the advertising and all the other stuff. In addition to which, they might have Mickey Arison to kick around, because it looks like he's going to be coming on his hands and knees and sucking wind to be a tenant up in there.
Do you think, though, that there's really enough corporate sponsorship to sell those things when they're having enough problems with the Dolphins and that stuff about the club seats and the license rights for the extra money to buy club seats?
Yeah, but you got to understand, the reason that they raised the price on the boxes and the club seats and all of that stuff at Pro Player or whatever the hell it is this week was because of the tax situation. That's why all those prices went way up.
The other day, because I'm in the car all the time, I do listen to the Hummer quite frequently.
Yeah, see, here we go again, yeah.
Now, I admit it, I'm not going to lie.
No, I'm not knocking it, but I'm just showing you how interesting it is that one day it seems like everybody and their brother listens to the Humper in the afternoon, then the next day when they find out Phil is leaving, he's the greatest thing since Halava.
Well, all I know is that he has been 2 things. Number one, he's been saying all along about Tony Ritter and the puppet and Mickey Arison. I mean, if anybody blasts those guys, it's him. And
I don't?
Well, sure you do. Sure you do. You just let him have it 5 seconds before I got on the phone. But he really lets. I mean, he is relentless. He's ruthless to them.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, somebody called him up about a month or 2 ago and said to him, what was his big problem with Jeff Rimmer and you? And he said the big problem that he had with Jeff Rimmer was that he said he reported to you about that he was leaving QAM going to WFAM.
First of all, Jeff Rimmer never told me that. That was a listener that told me that. Jeff Rimmer never said anything about Hank going to QAM, to FAN. That was a listener that started that rumor. It had nothing to do with Rimmer, but it's just an excuse because Hank is jealous and obsessed with me, so therefore, instead of taking shots at me, he does it through Rimmer, as if I really care.
Right.
Okay, Ira.
Have a great day.
And back to you.
Thank you.
10:15 at WIOD.
The opinions expressed by the host, guest, or callers on WIOD are not necessarily those of the station or its sponsors. All WIOD programs are copyright 1996 by WIOD Incorporated. No tape recordings or transcripts may be created or distributed without prior written consent of WIOD Incorporated.
Okay, 10:18 at WIOD. Was just getting some great news through the grapevine. So anyway, I just want to express my personal opinion. I think Jennifer Rem is a class act all the way. I love Jennifer. She and I have worked together for years. I have no problems with Jennifer. She's entitled to her opinion. And the fact that Rick Riley got psychotic yesterday because she expressed an opinion he didn't like, tough crap is basically the way I look at it. That's number one. Number two, I'm delighted over the fact that we had an opportunity yesterday for Phil Hendrie to come on the air and do publicly what he's been doing off the air for 4 months now, and that is try to convince me to get out of here. No, seriously, don't you find that, I don't know whether to use the word disingenuous, sinister, subversive, I don't know what term to use. Because I don't know what motivation there could possibly be there, because you see, there's some people you work with in the business, like years ago, like I worked with Bill Calder, was a good friend of mine. We go to the track. He and his wife were good friends of mine. Craig Worthing was a good friend of mine when I worked at KAT. But very rarely do I become close with people that I work with. Just ask George. He'll tell you that's the understatement of the century. I'm a hard ass, okay? But in this particular case, I've never even gone out and had a beer or a hamburger with Phil Hendrie. He's been here 2.5 years, and there's just never, he's here in the afternoon, I leave here at 2, and there's just never even been the occasion that we've ever even sat down and talked out of this building. Once. So why the tremendous interest in my career and where I'm going and what I'm going to be doing? I'm not going anywhere. I'm satisfied with making the income that I'm making, which starts with a very significant number. And, I'm like I said before, I don't plan on doing this the rest of my life. I don't want to be the Bob Barker of talk radio. I don't want to be like Long John Nebel and croak on the air. I don't understand those people. To each its own. There are those guys who say, if, once they quit, they croak, that stuff. That's why George Burns was on stage until the day that he croaked. And all. That's fine. There are some people like that who evidently that's all there is in life. Maybe after Gracie died, that's all George had left to do was puff on cigars and hobble around on stage. Maybe that was it. Whatever. I don't know. But I somehow could probably scrape by. I could somehow manage without the delight of coming in here and begging people to talk to me every day. And I would just, if I could eke out a life, that would be it. I would just go away and vanish and disappear. And like Andy Williams. That's one thing I do like about Andy Williams. And I'm sorry the guy played The Godfather yesterday because I apologize profusely because Andy can't sing his way out of a paper sack. But at least Andy Williams, there's a guy who made a lot of money. I'll tell you another one, Mike Douglas. He was on with what's-her-name the other day. Who's that new talk show bitch? What the hell is her name? She's good.
What color?
White. Not Rosie O'Donnell. Or maybe it was Rosie O'Donnell. Oh, like I said, I take that back. She's not good. No, it was Rosie O'Donnell. Mike Douglas, that's right, because they were ripping the Osmonds again. He took the shot.
She has her moments.
But why not? The guy made millions of dollars. What does he need to be potchking around now trying to be an entertainer? So I'm not interested at this stage of my life, at this age, and after 20 years of frustration in this town, of like starting all over again, of I'm going to be syndicated. Great, that's wonderful. Sure, I'd like to be on Nationwide and talking to people and have 8 million phone lines and have 1,000 phone calls at all times and be making $2-3 million a year. That's great. Maybe I'm lazy. Maybe I'm not highly motivated. Maybe I'm just content, even though I come in here and grumble on the air. That's part of the shtick, okay? Maybe I'm content with, schlepping along with that check that I carry in a suitcase to the bank every Thursday. Maybe it's enough for me. But I find it just bizarre that this man, on an almost daily basis, you got to call this agent, and I got to get out of here, and I'm going to do this, and windows in my contract, and windows in the building. I don't understand it. I don't know where this man is coming from. Is he really my keeper? Is he looking out for my best interests? Do I believe that? Do you believe that? Do you think that that's what this is all about? Do you think that because somebody is leaving, they would enjoy seeing what they left behind disintegrate? And as much respect as I have for Phil Hendrie, he's one of the great talents in this industry, not just now but ever. And I've said that for since he came in this building, since he started doing afternoons, and we really got the hang of what he's doing. He's a phenomenal talent. He's a funny guy. But guess what? Before Phil came here, we were doing great. Do you know what I'm saying? In other words, somehow we survived here before he came. This isn't a shot. This is just a statement of fact, since we're laying this all out on the table. And I have a feeling that somehow, maybe, after he leaves, even though there's going to be a gigantic void there, we probably will have a chance to succeed again, especially with a more aggressive ownership that's going to do some marketing and hopefully do some things. We might just make it. But I just find it very, very peculiar and very unusual that on an almost daily basis, you got to get out of here. And this, no, I'm not going anywhere. Maybe just out of spite I'm going to stay now. Because I don't understand that whole deal. I don't get it. It's like when I was walking across the street with Bob Neal the day that the announcement was made of the sale of the radio station, and he said to me that Paxton bought WIOD primarily for Neil Rogers and the Dolphins. Those were his words. And he said, well, if it doesn't work out, there's always Howard's Network, and there's always this, and there's always... And I thought, boy, we aren't even across the street yet, and already they're like planting the seeds of, well, you can always bail out. Think about it. Or not. 1024 at WIOD.
Dolphins play. And then we like to talk about it. Every Monday night from 6 to 8 p.m. and sometimes on Tuesdays, join Sports Talk 610 Dolphin Edition as Depot and the Mad Dog broadcast live from Dave & Buster's in Hollywood. You can be a part of the action. Win great prizes like the Miller Lite NFL Player of the Year Tailgate Cooler Kit, a free suit from Austin Burke, a digital satellite system, and you can catch special appearances by Dolphin players. Since these guys play in the NFL, you got to get them a limo. That's from Auerbach and Channing Limo Service. It all happens at one of the most amazing places in South Florida, Dave & Buster's, right off I-95 and Sterling Road. There's 50,000 square feet of food and fun, including D&B's $1 Million Midway. Sports Talk 610 Dolphin Edition, live from Dave & Buster's, for Miller Lite, GMC Truck Dealers, Austin Burke, where really great fit costs less, and News Talk and Entertainment Radio. 610 WIOD.
News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
You're being very difficult with me this morning.
Yes, I am. Okay, 1028 at WIOD. So what are you saying, George? You're saying that...
And Adam agreed with him.
Oh, Adam agreed? Well, that's because Adam has become a little suckhole, a little underling, and that's just the way it goes. I can't worry about that. I think that once this thing gets over... The guy that called this morning on Rick's show, even though he was full of crap in one part... he said, oh, well, yeah, that thing with Jennifer, that was bad radio. It was great radio. It was some of the best radio we've ever had on this radio station. Yesterday, I'm going to say it again, everyone in this building, it's like a clock that just stops. When the little hand hits the big hand, and everything freezes in motion. And that's how this building was. There was no work going on. Even in the few departments where there occasionally is some, there was nothing going on in this building. Everybody was gathered around. They had the monitors on in every orifice, in every toilet, in every nook and cranny. It was all over the building. And why was that? Because there was stuff going on. It wasn't contrived. See, Mr. Ego and the people on the light bulb, for years they've been doing that real boring, contrived controversy where they try to whip up all this contrived hate. See, this was real hate. This was, no, seriously, this was real disagreement, real honest stuff being laid out. And that's one thing that I've always thrived on, is like putting stuff on the air that nobody else ever puts on the air. The audience doesn't want to hear a bunch of contrived crap with the same Mr. Kane and Mr. Siderman. Nobody wants to hear that crap. Man, oh man, after the first 400 pounds of that crap, it starts smelling pretty bad. And the taste ain't too good either. But when you have people on who legitimately have some differences there, and when you have people who are scapegoating and looking to lash out and leash out in every direction to blame others for their failures, it creates the opportunity for a real, whatever it was, whatever you want, for a real soap opera. And I think if there's one thing that can keep us going these next 10 days, and you do realize now the number up there on the board, I told Adam we're changing that number to, instead of counting days, we're counting shows, because it's a smaller number, and it creates like a foreseeable end to this. So we have 10 more shows after today. during which we will be owned by Cox Enterprises, after which the transition will finally, at long last, take place. We're digging up Martin Luther King, and we'll come in on that day and say, free at last, etc., and so on. And the old people say, oh, free, we'll take some. That's right. So here we are, just laying it right out there on the line. I'm going to say it again. I think that, once the transition takes place, Ron and Ron, as much as you know what I think of Ron and Ron. I hope they bring all their people over here. I hope they do a 10 share in the morning, just so there's a possibility that we can have some dribble over into the other day parts, and we might expand our cube instead of talking to the same people. This is one of the biggest problems of this radio station that the current owners don't understand and don't want to understand, because it requires an effort to change. You can't keep saying the same things to the same people over and over and over again. You have to develop new cume. It's just like these promos that we keep running. There isn't anybody who listens to this radio station that doesn't know we have sports talk, that doesn't know we do the traffic, that doesn't know we have news. Exactly. There isn't anybody who doesn't know these things already. So what we keep doing is recycling the same cume and telling the same people the same things until they can recite it by rote. You remember Kyle Rote Jr.? So Maridoki said, here's Miami Beach. Hello.
You suck, asshole.
Okay, thanks so much. Good. We waited for half an hour for that. I'm glad you got a rich, full life, pal. Cut the crap, Rick. Stop trying to do voices. We have an open line in Dade, 751 WIOD. We have an open line on the purple line, pound IOD, one in Broward. Here's a lady in Miami Beach. Hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes.
Neil? Hello, Neil?
Yes.
I want to wish you from the depth of my
I don't
heart.
celebrate Happy New Year. I don't celebrate it.
You don't?
Happy New Year to you.
Okay.
Happy Rosh Hashanah.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Open line and date. I'm not going to come on here and pretend for the benefit of our Jewish friends out there that I'm, who cares about this stuff? Stop wasting your money, okay? Go out and throw the matzahs away or whatever it is we're doing now. That's at Pesach. Throw that stuff away with these Jewish holidays. So it's not really 1996. It's 57, what is it? What's the year? Anybody have the thing here? What, who knows what it is and who cares? You keep running around telling everybody, oh, it's not 1996, it's 50, it's 25-25. Here's what Zager and Evans said. Forget about it already, will you? With this caca stuff, with all this phony baloney stuff. And that Yom Kippur crap. But we got to fast because it's the Day of Atonement. We got to atone for our sins. How about an animal sacrifice, huh? Let's go find a tzickin. Let's cut out the pupik and see if God is pleased at that.
I'm partial to goats, personally.
In fact, I would think that after all these years of sacrificing those animals, I would think that a lot of these gods are getting hardening of the arteries, or hardening of something by now. So cut the crap already, okay? Zai Gazun, have a wonderful life, and happy Shavuos, and whatever. And happy Rosa Lopez Day. I think that it's really fantastic that the Rosa Lopez thing and Friday the 13th and Rosh Hashanah are all falling basically at the same time this year. I think I see a lot of similarity. Here's a call from Tampa, and we have no idea why because they can't hear us. Hello? Yeah, like I said. Here's Kendall. Hello.
Good morning, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Okay.
I love the reference to Zager and Evans. I haven't heard that name in quite a long time.
Yeah.
Listen, about Andy Williams.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
please. I'm so sorry I mentioned that name.
I know, but the thing is, the guy's got his own, they're all out in Branson, Missouri. They don't fade away now. They go out there and they get their own convention halls, and they make a fortune from 9 to 5 in Branson, Missouri.
What's Andy Williams got to do with that? Is he's entertaining out there?
Yeah, he's got his own place. I couldn't believe it. It was on TV the other night.
Yeah.
And he looks like 110.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Well, thank God we don't have to see him anymore on TV. That's my point.
Yeah, he's got his own thing out there. Roger
Like when Mike
Miller,
Douglas was on there yesterday, they had to bring out his body parts in a jar.
all the people that are you don't even hear about anymore. They've all got their own little saloons out there making a fortune.
But let me ask you this question. If you were Bob Barker and had probably $50 or $100 million floating around somewhere, would you be on there every day doing that stupid show or coming in once or twice a week to tape 5 shows?
Absolutely not. He looks ridiculous.
I mean, what's the point? When do people like Dick Clark and Ed McMahon, I mean, Ed's got enough for beer money. When do these people ever have enough already?
I don't know. It's really sad.
They want to keep working until the day they stick their ass in the ground. I don't get it.
I know. They said a thing about George Burns, but like you were saying, that was his whole life. Show business. He knew nothing else.
After Gracie, I mean, he and Gracie were like, so close. And once she died, that was all he had left.
Yeah, I just read his autobiography.
One of the great love stories in history was George Burns and Gracie Allen.
Yeah, and that's all he had. If he didn't have the stage, he had nothing else.
Yeah.
and the big cigars.
And he had a big one, yeah.
The big one.
Not as big as Milton Berle, but he had a big one.
You know, I'll tell you, I've been listening to the station, and it's like listening to other people's grief or misery, but I'm telling you, you guys, with all this stuff going on, has been some of the best radio I've heard. I can't get
Yesterday,
enough.
I'm going to say it, I've been in 20 years on the air in this market. Yesterday was the greatest day of broadcasting in the history of Miami radio.
I heard
Period.
every bit of it. I called Phil, and
Yeah.
I made a reference to Ellis Rubin, and I wasn't even sure, him being in town only 2.5 years, that he would know Ellis Rubin. And he got it right off the bat and proceeded to hang up on me quickly and said it wasn't funny. I wasn't even sure he was going to get that.
Yeah.
But the guy, you don't get a curveball by him.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
But one thing.
Or a low slider.
One thing in closing.
So why do you think that Phil Hendrie is so anxious for me to leave WIOD and get out of this market? Why do you think that is?
I have no idea.
Don't you think it's something? Don't you find it unusual?
It's very unusual. I think that nobody wants to get cut from the team, no matter what it is. And I still think I don't care if he's going to KFI or YFI or the Jetsons Network, wherever he's going, nobody likes to be cut from the team. And I agree with you 100%. The only people powerful enough to do what has been done to him is the Miami Dolphins organization and the deal with Brian Cox.
Yeah.
Who else could be behind it?
Well, I think that had a lot to do with it. I mean, I can't say it for sure, but I think that,
I know you
they
guys
talked
took
about
him on. I know you took him on. You took on Brian Cox. And maybe,
yeah, but they've, for whatever reason, the Dolphin organization has put up with me for all these years. They just humor me, and they just don't take me seriously, and I've never pissed anybody in the organization off enough to the point where they've said, oh, well, if Rogers is on there, goodbye, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess they figured that Mr. Hendrie, they weren't going to let him get away with it.
They just had too thin of a foreskin. I think that was the problem.
Yeah.
Have a great day, pal.
Okay, Neil.
See ya. 2 open lines in Dade, 751-9463, 751-WIOD. We have one in Broward, 524, and 2...
News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
The sign that used to say Robbie went dark, and now they're calling it Pro Player Park. Cause Fruit of the Loom said it's time for a change. The new rules are you have to show up in your underwear, and no one ugly is allowed in there, so you'll have lots of fun checking out those buns.
Unbelievable.
My zipper's flying down, so I can get my kicks up when the game is over tight. Just like my Fruit of the Loom's back around over my bulging mouth. Now you can see a lot more at the game, since everybody is undressed the same, and you can look around to see what's hanging down. This is paradise found. I never realized just how good it would feel being glad in my jockeys at the football field, since Robbie is gone, and now it's PP Park.
Look at the on that blonde, man. I'm going to start on this theme, and I'm going to rap on it all year long. You jackass. I like guys. Come on in and lay down on myself. Well, all right, sports fans.
I ate at the falafel ball stand, and met the new team mascot underwear man. Looked for chicks and stared at the fun zone up above, at their tunnels of love. I've never realized just how good it would feel being clad in my jockeys at the football field, since Robbie is gone. Oh! And now it's BP Park. They call it BP Park. Let's hang at BP Park.
Everybody got to bring their own pee-pee. Don't forget Sunday, 1 o'clock against the Jets. I'll be there. Boy, first Dolphin game in 2 years. This is going to be some happening, I'll tell you that. I sure hope Rich hasn't been eating too much at the track lately, so I have at least a half a seat to sit in. 10:43 at WIOD. Here's a lady in Pembroke Pines, hopefully under the age of 100. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to talk to you about the Atkins diet for a minute, if I could. But I didn't want to bore you with that.
Yeah.
But I'm not having very much success.
Yeah.
And I don't know who to talk to. I mean, is there anyone that I can
Do you have the book?
Yeah, I have the book. I even have the cookbook.
Yeah, and how long have you been on it?
A month.
Yeah, and how much have you lost?
I lost 10 pounds in the first week. I gained 5 pounds back in the third week.
And you were still on it?
Yeah. Faithfully.
You're drinking diet soda?
Yep. More water so than anything else. But I went to the woman over at Delight's here in Pembroke Pines, and she said she's an authorized seller of all his products. And I asked her what the problem was, and she asked me if I was taking the supplements, and I told her no. She told me that was the problem.
I don't agree. Nobody
Well,
loses.
see, I didn't
Nobody
either.
loses weight by taking supplements. The only reason you take supplements are so that you don't lose essential nutrients while you're cutting down on carbohydrates.
Right, and I
Supplements don't make you. If just taking supplements made you lose weight, then everybody would just be popping pills and losing weight.
Exactly, and that's
Other
why
than
I
speed.
didn't believe in it. But, I mean, who else can I turn to help me? I
Well,
mean,
then
I
why
had,
don't you call it? Did you call the number in the book?
oh, you know what? I didn't even know there was one in there.
Do you, I don't remember what it is, but it's in there.
I definitely will look for it because I just...
And see, what you need to do, I don't go along with anybody that just goes out and buys the book and does it on their own. You've got to find a doctor that believes in it and that'll supervise it and that'll take the periodic blood test and see how your cholesterol is doing and your triglycerides and the whole deal and answer your questions. I'm never ever again going to be put in a position of playing doctor here on the air. I just don't know. I don't know the answers.
I understand that. I didn't.
And even if I were a doctor, I couldn't. Could I diagnose you over the phone? Do I know? Am I following you around, watching what you're eating all day, every day?
No,
I don't know.
I understand that, but I just didn't know if there was anyone that I
mean,
could
if you would have
talk to.
if you would have just slowed down, I would have understood it. But to gain 5 pounds back, if and maybe you're eating stuff that isn't legitimate, that isn't really on the diet. Are you buying some of the? Because you mentioned a place. Are you buying cheesecakes and the other stuff?
Well, I didn't buy theirs. Actually, I did buy them, but I didn't like them, so I made my own.
Yeah.
But I checked all the carbohydrates and I watched, what I was using in them, and I have to say that I have stayed under 20, trying to
under 20 grams.
Yeah, trying to get things moving. But
Yeah.
it took me 1 day to get into ketosis.
Well, maybe you got a yeast problem.
Yeah. Well,
But again, I
didn't
can't-
really expect
It could be
you
a lot
to
of
be a
things, but you
doctor,
gotta talk to a doctor. You have to find a doctor that
go.
Huh?
Are there actual doctors that follow this diet? I mean,
Yeah.
I hear about all this fen-phen and Redux and all these pills and everything, and I'm not interested in that. But I didn't know if there were actual doctors that.
All those pills are speed. That's all that stuff is.
Yeah,
It's speed.
well, I'm not interested in any of that. I just want to stick to the diet. But I
Yeah.
didn't know there were doctors that actually followed it. And that's why I called you, because I really didn't know where to turn.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't expect you to tell me what to do over the phone.
Well,
but
I can have George give you the my doctor's number. Although I see you're in Broward, he's in Miami Beach. But it's up to you. Maybe you can call there. He's on it himself. He's
Well,
a real big
sure.
believer in it.
I mean, I have never talked to anybody that hasn't lost weight on the diet.
Yeah.
And that's why, and I have 100 pounds to lose. So
Right.
It's not like I'm trying to lose 20
Well,
pounds.
then, if you got that much to lose, you've definitely got to have a doctor. You can't just buy a book and start potchking around with your body. Hang on a second.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, line 4. You got the stuff, right? 2 open lines in Dade, 751. The doctor's in, Dr. Neal. I mean, I sympathize with her plight, but I can't, I'm not the guy. Believe me, I'm fat as a pig. 751-9463, 751-WIOD. We're going to come to the answer this morning about why Phil Hendrie is so anxious for the rest of us to all bail out of WIOD. We're also going to find out, we're going to hear from Jews who are not celebrating New Year or Yom Kippur, who are not going to shul. We're going to hear from them. We're going to also find out if Dave Hyde is doing speed or other drugs, because lately, between his column about the Troy Aikman book by Skip Bayless, which all it did was publicize the book. See, I don't see that anybody has fallen off the deep end. I didn't see Troy Aikman get benched. I saw Dallas kick the crap out of the Giants last week. I don't see people swooning, diving off tall buildings because Troy Aikman might be gay or might not. Nobody really gives a crap. And yet Dave Hyde helped to sell a lot of books and create a lot of interest in that and bring it to everybody's attention. And now in his column today, which is one of these columns where he just has a lot of idle thoughts about this and that, and I was reading it, and as usual, enjoying Dave Hyde's column because I like Dave, but he gets to a thing about, he says, you know who I feel sympathetic towards in his Heat situation while not agreeing with his arena stand? Mickey Arison. His family got involved in the Heat to help the area. He took over the Heat completely to keep the team in Miami. All he wants to do is build a championship team, not a sports empire. All he does is get ripped. And I'm wondering, is this supposed to be tongue-in-cheek? Is this a joke? His family got involved in the heat to help out the area, and that's why they wanted to push through. They wanted to sneak through this arena. They wanted to force the Panthers out of town, and they wanted to sneak through this new arena 3.5 blocks away from the present one, right by the Port of Miami, for the fun and benefit of the Arison family and the Herald. I mean, let's get serious, okay? Not to mention, of course, all the hijinks with Pat Riley and Juwan Howard and all the other stuff that they tried to pull the wool over the NBA's eyes. Forget about that. And the fact that they went up there and lied in Broward County to the commissioners, and Pauline Winnick did Mickey's bidding up there and pretended that they really had an interest in going in the new Broward arena, and then brought all the information back to Dade and tried to pull the wool over the people in Dade County. Dave Hyde, man, I think too many of those Defo shows, man. I think it'll do it to you. Better watch out for my friend Ruben. Here's a mobile implantation. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing?
Great.
Hey, one quick thing, a big report for you.
Yes, sir.
Corner of Nob Hill and Broward.
Yeah.
I've never seen one of these before. There's a pig sitting on the corner with a notepad and pen, and the only thing I can figure out, he's taking a seatbelt survey. Standing there smoking a cigarette and...
Oh, he's just standing on the corner?
Just standing on the corner with a pad and pen. No radar gun, no nothing.
Yeah, maybe he's checking out who's being naughty and nice.
And
Maybe he's making a list and checking it twice.
He's got a check here and a check there, and with people flying by and his head's going left and right.
But he doesn't have a pistola? He's not shooting the radar?
No pistola, no radar gun, no nothing.
Huh.
I've never seen a seatbelt check before, but look like he's running his own little survey there.
Great.
Unbelievable.
A new wrinkle has been added, man.
Plantation PD.
I feel a lot safer for the new year.
Thanks, Neil.
Thanks a lot. Okay, there's a little warning for you in Broward. 751. No, I did not know you were getting married, Randy, and quite frankly, I don't think anybody's really interested in this point. Don't take it personally unless you want to, but you've been living with a guy for like 75 years already. It's not like a major announcement, and if you were expecting a wedding gift, get serious. 10:50 at WIOD. Who doesn't like to go out for a great meal, huh? Who doesn't like saving money at the same time? Now there's a way to save 25% every time you dine out with a Transmedia card. The Transmedia card saves you 25% on the entire food and drink portion of your bill, and that includes any guest you pay for. And it's easy because the Transmedia card is linked to a credit card of your choice. All you do is pay for your meal with your Transmedia card, and a 25% credit shows up on your next statement. It's that easy. No coupons to monkey around with, no books, none of that stuff, just the card. You can use it anytime, anywhere, with no restrictions, and there's over 150 restaurants in South Florida to choose from, like Coco Pazzo, like Chez Max, like Bistro 209, like Red Flannel Cafe, like Giacosa, like Casablanca, and lots more, and over 7,000 more restaurants all around the world. Call now and get the Transmedia card for just $25 for the first year. That's 50% off the regular membership fee. Call 1-800-791-DINE. 1-800-791-DINE. It comes with a money-back guarantee, so you got nothing to lose but that big bill. Save 25% when you eat out with the Transmedia card. Get yours today by calling toll-free 1-800-791-DINE.
2-0. And guess who's next? The Jets. Beautiful. Dolphins on radio. News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
It's big, Neil. It's bigger than both of us.
Well, congratulations. Get a life.
Okay, calm down, Jennifer. 1054 at WIOD, open line in Dade, one in Broward, 72 on the green lines, and one even on the purple line, Mobile One Cell AT&T Wireless at Pound IOD. Here's Tamarack. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Good morning to you.
Buenos dias.
This Rick and Suds, or this Rick and Jennifer M thing, I'd like to address that if I could.
The Rick and Rem thing, yeah?
Right. Rick and Suds, they're great. They're going to be, they're going back to afternoons, which is even more great. But why? Well, now I'm not going to ask you why, but I think Rick picking on Jennifer M is really low. And where him picking on everyone in the news and the traffic. Traffic sucks by themselves.
Well, let me explain. Of course, the traffic sucks, but let me explain this to you, okay? Jennifer is the news director.
Right.
And what Jennifer took exception to was the fact that Rick, when I kind of brought this all out of the closet yesterday, that Rick was placing blame on Jackie Quinn and certain other people in the news department for the demise of the numbers on the morning show. And she took that personally, and I would, tend to agree with her, like I told Rick the other day, that bringing back Chuck Meyer is not the answer. And I don't think that most people tune into any show because they want to hear a certain news person, especially on this radio station. I can understand if we were an all-news station. I can understand if we were like an old fuddy-duddy station where people wanted to hear Walter Cronkite doing the news. But that's not the nature of this radio station.
You're only hearing him for 5 minutes on each side of the hour anyway.
As long as somebody can read more than 2 words without stumbling and falling down and just pass along the information and play the spot and get out, that should be it.
That's exactly right.
And, of course, one of the things that never did come up in the course of conversation yesterday was the fact that Rick has never gotten into a newscast on time in the 7 years or whatever it said that he's been on this radio station, which, of course, puts additional stress on the news people. So that's what generated all of that. And I think that when you want to make it into a personal thing, that's up to the two of them. But
well, for him,
what can I tell you?
For him to bring it out like that, and it's just so asinine for him to blame everyone in the news that you're only hearing a total of 5 minutes on each side of the hour about the news.
Yeah.
It's his own fault, and his program isn't bad anyway, but to him to get so petty to try to just blatantly blame...
Well, see, I think that when you've got deficiencies, and we've all got things that we can fix. Nobody does a perfect show. I don't know anybody, including yours truly, who does a perfect show. We can all improve.
You're as close to perfect as it gets, though.
But yeah, right. But for when you're doing your gardening. But the thing is this, that when you've got areas that need to be worked on, for example, like I've tried suggesting different things to Rick over the years, and he'll solicit your opinion, but then whatever you say, he wants to do the opposite. Like the thing with Gilbert, and I'm telling you that this guy that they have calling in, I don't know what the guy's name is. He's from somewhere in the Midwest, and they pay him to make these calls. Tom Blochow and Bob Dole. Yeah, he's like a comedy guy allegedly. Well, this guy is the kiss of death. I'm telling you, in the last year, I've never heard that guy come on without punching the button and turning that show off immediately. And I think I got some kind of idea of what humor is, okay? The guy's not funny. He's pathetic.
No, and Gilbert is less than that.
And I bring those things up this morning, and right away it's like I just brought in a knife again. I stabbed Rick in the back or something. He just takes great offense at that, and I don't know what that's all about.
Well, I think he just needs to grow up a little bit.
Well, that's part of it. I think instead of being stubborn and a hard ass, which I thought he was moving away from that a little bit, you got to start patching up those areas that need some work instead of lashing out and looking for a scapegoat and blaming the news person or the janitor that empties out the wastebasket as for the reason why you're not doing as great as you might.
Definitely. And I love Jennifer Ram.
Everybody loves Jennifer.
I bought her Lipton iced tea bottle. Remember that little thing they were doing? The bidding on the stuff in the garbage. Your cigar?
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Well, I have the Lipton iced tea bottle.
That was on Phil's show.
Yes, it was.
Right.
So I take exception and I take it personal what Rick says about my Jennifer M.
It just keeps getting bigger.
Thank you,
okay,
Neil.
pal. Have a great day. Okay, we have an open line in Dade, 751. Is Jennifer in the building today, or is she on resting or something? Because I noticed Jackie Quinn took off for the weekend. She went up to the Northeast somewhere to get out of here. She probably went up there hoping to get hit by that hurricane because it was pretty intense here yesterday. So she's gone, and if Jennifer, I don't know what the problem is. I mean, like Terry Griffin is sitting in there right now. We love Terry. Terry is great. She does a super job on the news. I don't think people specifically tune in the show because they want to hear Terry do the news, but she's sensational, and it's great, and we're going to miss her because she's not going with us, is she?
No.
Damn it. And we wish that you were.
Thank you.
You know how I feel.
I know.
And Jennifer, she's been doing the news on this show for a long time on most of the day parts, and it's great. And once in a blue moon, I'll come on at the end. We'll have a little verbal intercourse back and forth. And if the share on his show dropped a point, or when during those periods of time when the numbers go down a little bit, I don't come on and say, "Oh, it's the news people's fault. It's that damn Terry Griffin and that Jennifer Ream. It's their fault." And I think it's unfortunate, but I'm glad that it came out because I think that it'll force some people to reassess their attitudes, although I'm not sure that's really happened yet. But I think that if we continue banging away at it, some people will be forced to reassess their own performance and their own involvement and their own effort and their own priorities and kind of like put things in perspective. Although, of course, there might be some people who are beyond doing that. But, again, I don't want to conjecture. Time will tell. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Whatever, yeah.
Hey, Rick is a crybaby, man. Yesterday he wussed out on you in front of Jennifer M. This morning he was trying to rip her a new one and say she didn't have the guts to go off on you. He's a
dumb
bum.
jock.
Yeah. He's blaming her for all his problems.
Yeah.
He's a bum. He should take responsibility. Stop talking about
Well, how many
his
years
wife.
have I told him to grow up here and butch up, okay? And I'm thinking that right now, if we really keep banging away on this, that just maybe, I know there are miracles. They don't happen very often, but just maybe there will be a little growth. Just a little fuzz, a little fur, a little something might start, and God only knows what that might turn into.
Your window into the soul of stupidity.
I think I can make it.
WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
Oh! Jennifer, what's Jennifer, we like what you say. Tell those assholes they can all go. Stick it in and hold it just so. No one reads the headlines quite like her. Jennifer, we love the way you speak your mind and tell them all. You entertain, and you're right when you say that this place needs a giant and enormous blowjob. Jennifer, say it's not to be. Jennifer, that you're really Phil Hendrie. And if what Jennifer says you don't like, yank it, baby, and get a life. 'Cause no one reads the headlines quite like her. Jennifer.
You're being very difficult with me this morning.
Okay, 11:06 at WIOD. Happy Friday. Happy Friday the 13th. Happy Rosh Hashanah. Happy New Year. Happy weekend. Happy whatever you want to be happy about. The market, somebody must be happy. The market's going bananas today. It's up 55 points.
Oh!
And the NASDAQ's up 18 points, which is the equivalent of like 90 Dow points. It's going bananas. So let's just close it down right now before they change their mind. We have got a board here that I wouldn't wish on Hermann Goering, man. Look at that. What's going on here today? Is it because of Rosh Hashanah? Didn't I predict this the other day? It's another excuse. Everyday line and two of the Broward lines and the purple line. I got two calls sitting there on the board after an hour of ranting and raving and carrying on and gesticulating and opening up and bleeding all over the place here for you. It just, they don't care. They got no comment. They have no ideas. It's just like the thing I brought up with Rick this morning about that guy that they pay to make those calls who's, I've always said there's nothing worse than somebody trying to be funny who isn't. I bring that up to Rick, and you people won't call. They got nothing to say about it, one way or the other. Because generally, like I've said before, the people who call are ass lickers, and they just want to ingratiate themselves, and that's the purpose of the call. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Neil, God.
Yes, I am.
A few comments. Let me see here. Dave Hyde, Arison, bang. I agree.
Okay, we have two open lines in Dade, 751. We got one in Broward, 524, one on the green line. I tell you, I've heard some real losers in my time, but going back to 9:15 this morning, starting with Pearl and Pearl Mesta and the other geriatrics we've heard from. Is there anybody alive out there? I'm extending the hand of friendship or the sword of Damocles or anything in between. What is it that we can stick in to you? Jesus, God almighty, talk about the aging demographic. How about bringing Henry Barrow in to do the news on Rick and Suds? Too old? Oh, sorry. How about Tom Hopkins? Oh, it doesn't have a colon? Sorry. Here's Boca. Hello.
Neil, happy everything to everybody
right.
today. Thank you for the
happy
lesson on Radio 101 this morning on the Rick and Suds show.
The what?
The radio lesson. I thought you were literally tutoring Rick this morning.
No, I was just trying to give some input because they are making this big switch over to the afternoon, and I think Rick ought to concentrate. I'm trying to get him focused into concentrating on the things that he could do to improve the show, as opposed to lashing out and blaming news people and janitors and watchmakers and everybody else.
But I did catch one thing. Every suggestion you made to him, he sort of resisted.
Right, exactly. That's the thing with Rick. In fact, I should probably tell him that Gilbert is sensational, and the guy that does those phone things is the funniest guy I've ever heard in my life. They'll both disappear in a heartbeat.
Right. Now, also, I'm Jewish. I don't celebrate Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, great.
I call my mother. She lives in Chicago. I wish her a Happy New Year because she's a good old girl. But I don't care about it, and it doesn't bother me.
Well, I want to hear from all the non-observant Jews today who are much more concerned with eating Hamantash at Purim and with being circumcised than with all these hocus-pocus holidays.
And a few other things. First of all, when the Value jet crash occurred, Jennifer Wren came on and did a terrific show. She's been a great news lady, and I don't see that she's subject to any criticism. And finally, for Phil Hendrie, Listen, without Neil and without the Dolphins, there is no WIOD. And, L.A. may be the greatest place in the world. Goodbye, good luck. But stop blasting us and putting down our town. The heck with it. We've got to live here, and we're going to make the best of it.
Well, I'm blasting it, too. I mean, I hate it here in many respects, but I'm making a good living, and I like the weather. But other than that, look, I'm not changing my tune because Phil Hendrie is leaving. That would be very disingenuous to use a word that have become one of my favorites lately. But I'm curious as to why he's got this fetish with yesterday was trying to convince both Rick and Suds and yours truly that the pastures are greener every place else and we ought to be getting out of here. And it just smacks to me of a Cox corporate effort to finish off and break this place into a million pieces before they hand it over to Paxton. There is no doubt in my mind that that's where they're coming from. That's what they want to do.
You said it yesterday. It's radio spite.
Yeah, I've said that for years, but I mean now more so than ever. I mean, how if you've got any kind of honor, if you've got any kind of decency, if you've got any kind of credibility, how do you make a financial deal with somebody and sell them a property and then try to destroy it before they take control of it? It would be like you're selling somebody your house, and then before the closing date, you run around trashing the house so that when they come in on closing date, they walk into a piece of crap.
Well, I don't think that I want to get sucked into that. I think I'm just going to enjoy the programs, and everything's going to turn out okay.
I agree.
All right.
Have a good one. Okay, there you go, another non-observant Jew. We need a lot more of them calling in who aren't going to be wasting their time rushing to shul and putting on a phony act because it happens to be one of the important holidays. I mean, how do you separate? Well, this one's important, and Simcha's story, that's not that important. Come on already. Stop with this archaic stuff. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech, give me your money. Jesus, 2 open lines on the green lines, all this religious stuff, these bubba-mices, that's the main reason. That's the one thing to go along with what Phil was saying yesterday, and I admitted it. I would like to have a much broader forum, speak to a lot more people, but that's the main reason, because there is no one anywhere in this country, no one anywhere, who speaks out against organized religion and who just on a practically daily basis rips into all this hypocrisy and bullcrap and the child molesting priests and all the hatred and all this stuff that's going on all over the world because of these fairy tales, because of these fantasies, because of what religion does best, and that is generating hatred. And yes, I would like, you've heard me say that for 20 years and probably getting tired of hearing it, but there's a lot of other people that never heard anybody express that, and maybe just a few of them might stop and think, hey, you know something? That makes some sense, maybe. But hey, it's not good business. 12 minutes after 11 at WIOD. That's
normal wear. Total of payment $77.61. Purchase option.
Until we find a suitable replacement for sex, we're doing sports late nights on 610 WIOD, Ron Barr, and Sports Byline USA. 10 p.m. tonight on News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio. 610 WIOD.
How's that hand job coming along, John?
Can't beat that gator meat.
Oh! They sold this radio station. Now the future is in doubt. We've been talking about Paxton ever since Cox pulled out. Now we'll work for Paxton. The man's a millionaire. Gonna work for Paxton.
Rectum.
He's like Wayne with more hair. You might think that it's a bummer when Phil Hendrie's gone. Say goodbye to Aaron Summers. Say hi to Ron and Ron. They're gonna work for Paxton, and that's a matter of fact. They're gonna work for Paxton, but Neil ain't changing his act.
Hey, asshole.
Paxton's a born-again Christian, righteous as he can be. He wants to change the station's letters to WGOD. Now we'll work for Paxton. Hey, oh God! He's the brand new boss. Paxton, Paxton. We're gonna work for Paxton. Paxton, Paxton, make the sign of the cross.
But wait a second.
11:18 at WIOD, open line at Dade, 751-9463. We're trying to hear from somebody under the age of 100 so far this morning. We haven't succeeded. We're getting close, though. We're getting pretty close. Here's somebody close who's like bubbling under.
So long, Cox. Your head's full of rocks. Gonna bury you out back in a cardboard box. How you doing? Happy New Year.
You're not Jewish.
Well, no, so. So what? What's your point?
But you are circumcised.
That's true.
I knew that. How'd I know that, Jim Schuyler?
Don't have
Everybody
any
knows
idea.
that Jim Schuyler's cut.
You must be psychic.
In fact, every time they make out the new lineup, you're the first one to get cut.
I'm always the first to get cut.
So what are you doing these days? You're not still up there on J&O, are you?
Hell no. Free at last. Thank God Almighty.
Yeah.
No, I'm the Director of Public Relations and Advertising for Carousel's Jupiter Theater, formerly the Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater. Call the box office now at
What kind of a scam is that?
746-2800.
Boy,
Yeah,
you
it's a
radio
hell of a
guys
deal.
sure
It's
bounce
great.
around a lot, don't you?
Oh, man, but this is great. This is the best. This is fun.
You're having a good time, huh?
Oh, yeah. We're right by the beach. You get, gorgeous showgirls, and it's glamorous, and it's fun, it's exciting, it's beautiful. It's
So
wonderful.
were you there when they blew out Boy Gary, or was that after your departure?
He came in and left after I did, so that was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed him completely.
He was there a very brief time. That was one of the shortest rains since
About 5
pigeons
minutes,
flew
yeah.
over Plantation.
Yeah, about 5 minutes too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, in and out.
Well, you know what he told Randy? He said, well, it's radio. I got blown out. That's radio.
Yeah, I didn't get invited to that wedding either.
I don't even think he sued anybody up there. It's just he got blown out. That's radio. That's the way life is. Say avida a.
I think Randy forgot which mental ward she had me committed to, so I didn't get an invite to that.
So did you send Randy a wedding gift, by the way?
No, I didn't hear it. I heard
Did
it
you
all after the fact.
Did you attend her wedding?
No.
Did you notice that they were getting married?
No.
Yeah.
Did I care? No.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's the point?
Exactly. I don't know. Why the hell did you call me?
I heard the wedding was in... But I could be wrong. Yeah, she evidently was on the air dissing me yesterday for not sending her a wedding gift and acknowledging their... How the hell was I supposed to know they were getting married?
You know what? It doesn't make any difference because nobody's listening to her.
Right.
So, I mean,
Well, that's what she told me.
the only ones they're listening to are is Lee Fowler, and they're treating him like a dog. So,
I heard that he was suicidal. I mean, literally.
well, yeah, who wouldn't be? I mean, the guy. I mean, he goes. I mean, regardless of what you think about him and whether
Yeah.
or not he stole your act, the fact of the matter is, the guy goes in, does his best day after day. They're treating him like a dog. He goes in for kidney dialysis 3 times a week and still shows up on time to do a show.
Yeah.
And and he's the only one with any numbers. And they treat him like dirt.
He has numbers?
He does. He's the only one on the station who does.
How do you like that? He's up there getting numbers, stealing my act. The Hummer is the only one on QAM with any numbers, stealing my act.
Well, there you go, Wesley. Well,
And I'm still sitting here getting a few numbers, doing my own act. How do you like that?
and I'm here
The
smoking
act
a
that never
Jerry
died.
Garcia Vegas cigar.
Yeah.
So,
Well, listen, Schuyler, this has really been
boring.
almost as good as that guy that calls Rick and Suds in the morning from Indiana, or from
Exactly.
Elkhart, Indiana.
Right. Well, my tape is in the mail.
Okay.
Okay.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, goodbye.
Okay, 11:22 at WIOD.
News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
I'm telling you, Cheryl, that's what it is. Okay, 11:24 at WIOD. So Cheryl Rifkin Weend Schwartz is in the building. And she's actually speaking to me and pointing. On Rosh Hashanah, you don't point, okay? You at least be on your best behavior. Go home and drink a little Mogen David and go to shul and kosher the house again and send your kids off to Israel to be slaughtered by Arabs. Sooner or later, you're just like Rick Riley. That was a real shot. That was the worst shot of all. Sooner or later, you have to get the message. When you're going to go on vacation, don't be a Jewish martyr all your life. Don't go visiting Auschwitz. Don't go to Egypt. Don't go to places where they have nothing but a bunch of Farbissen anti-Semites. You can stay here for that. Go to someplace great. Go to Rome. Go to Amsterdam. Go to Stockholm. Go see the real world sometime before it's too late.
Are you finished picking on me?
No. Okay, here. So like I said, I apologize for the Rick Riley comment. That was a low blow. You're welcome. Here's Deerfield. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Just a non-religious Jew calling you up to say hello.
Oh!
And I resisted Judaism ever since I can remember.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to be bar mitzvah.
You got to be honest, though. Judaism is a great culinary religion.
Well,
it's a great gastronomic religion. We got Hamantash on Purim. We got, Passover I could live without the stale bread with the matzahs,
I used to like the holidays. I used to like to take off school.
Yeah, that's right. Lots of holidays, including some 2-dayers and 8-dayers and some real good, long, drawn-out holidays.
There you go.
We're no dummies.
But if I didn't go to temple and I didn't have a bar mitzvah, I couldn't watch Frank Mahovlich or Johnny Bauer go and play hockey.
Really?
So that was why I had to do it. But
a lot of Jews in Toronto, eh?
Oh, tons of them.
Yeah.
They got a whole sect up there, very religious, as a matter of fact. Bathurst Street, right from, you go from Bathurst Street, Spadina, up there, right through Eglinton, right up through Steeles. It's all Jewish there.
Yeah.
There must be, I'd say, 250,000.
Yeah, let's see, Toronto's got a lot of Jews, a lot of fags.
They have CHAT there, the Canadian Homophile Association of Toronto.
They have lots of Asians or Orientals or whatever you want to call them. They have a lot of
Pakistanis.
They have the thing
got it all.
The thing that I find fascinating is when we were in Rome, I pointed out to John. I said, there's a lot more Middle Eastern people in Toronto than there are in Rome.
There's a lot more Italians in Toronto than there are in Italy.
Well, there's a lot. There are two like little Italies in Toronto, which is amazing, and there's just tons of Chinatowns. They're all over the place.
I swear, you think you're in Asia sometimes.
But I will say this: the Asian people who live in Toronto are very much different than the ones who live here.
Well, I wouldn't know because I haven't lived there in 20 years. But apparently, my relatives all say they're very studious, hardworking people.
Well, no, that's generally true with most of them, but they're much hipper and much more progressive and much more part of the mainstream. But then again, Toronto's a city that works where all the different people seem to get along and coexist and are part of the city, as opposed to here where everybody's in their own little thing.
I see. Well, it's very cosmopolitan, and it's like New York.
Right. Well, without all that, without that many black people, right?
That's true. Well, you'd be surprised. There's got to be 100,000 Jamaicans, Caribbean people up there now. They've big Caribbean population.
But they're all driving cabs.
But no, very nice city between July and August.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I got down here because I just couldn't fathom the cold anymore. But it's just thought I'd call, say hello. I'm non-religious Jew. There's a lot of us. You'd be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. I think that the number of Jews who are really observant, except on these high holidays, though, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur is when all kinds of Jews who the rest of the year couldn't give a damn less, all of a sudden become very religious. And they're convinced that because they paid their dues at temple, therefore they should go, and they should drag their kids along, and they should pop a yarmulke on their head, and they should force them to participate in all of this meaningless exercise.
Exactly. Well, they got to make an appearance for the boss or the Who or they this. They got to impress everybody.
Or the Who, which I think the Who are going to be in the temple. Okay.
Are they Jewish?
It could
How
be.
are you enjoying the World Cup? I think it's great hockey.
I'm enjoying it a lot, and like I said, I really I'm not rooting for one country or the other. I'm glad to see it go the full 3 games for tomorrow night.
Yeah.
But it's just a real treat to see all. And I'm going to tell you, these guys are not fooling around. Like for last night, Lindros and Leclerc, who are not only teammates, but they're line mates on the Legion of Doom on the Flyers. They're line mates on the same team during the regular season, and they got into it a little bit, and Lindros gave them a real shot. I mean, these guys are playing for country, and it's for real, and they mean it. It's been great hockey.
It has been. Did you see Don Cherry going on and on about this guy and that guy and all these fake injuries? He loves Bobby Orr. Loves Bobby Orr.
And he's right. Bobby Orr is the greatest player who ever played the game. There's nobody even close. He's absolutely right.
But I still would take Gordie Howe over Bobby Orr.
No way.
Well, you know why? Just for longevity. If Bobby Orr would have played longer...
but it's interesting that he pointed out last night that Bobby Orr ruined his legs and finished his career because he insisted in playing in the, whatever it was called, Canada Cup.
Right.
Which is very sad.
And he won it for us that year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But the Bobby Orr and Gordie Howe are both up there. I still would lean a little towards Howe because in those days it was a little tougher. There was only 6 teams, and there's more longevity there.
Well,
Other than that, Bobby Orr probably was more talented.
I'll stick with Jim Dory myself.
Have a good one.
And back to you.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 2 open lines in Dade, 751 WIOD. We have one in Broward. Like I said, these people would know Merritt Steerheim from Merritt Doki. As in Pokey. It is astonishing to me. Maybe it's because of the fact that this area is so geographically isolated from... we were talking about that yesterday while Phil was trying to convince me to go up in the Northeast or just get out of here and go somewhere else and work. About the fact that when you live up north or in the Midwest or far west, I guess is the same thing too, to a lesser degree. because you're geographically isolated. But the Deep South, and especially Florida, which on radio and you just... It's like a cacophony of foreign languages that you're mostly Espanol on AM radio at night, and you just don't have any relationship to the other parts, to what's going on. And so the things that people are interested in here, it's like when we got the hockey team, and I started getting real enthused about it, and everybody was talking to me, oh, gee, thank you for introducing us to something we never heard of before. Like I was talking a foreign language, like they thought, oh, boy, this is really neat. We never knew such a thing existed, which I find very difficult to comprehend. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
For now, no comment.
Brilliant. Very good. Open line in Dade, 751 WIOD, 2 in Broward, 5249463, and 2 on the green lines, 1-800-944-WIOD. Here's Pompano. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hi, good morning, Neil.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias, first-time caller.
Good.
Love your show. I'm a Julio, and I still have my turtleneck, not circumcised.
Oh.
Neil.
It's one of those things you got to deal with, you know.
Neil, in reference to your comment a couple of days ago about the We Are the World Millionaires, that they should have shell out millions instead of singing this stupid song.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing happened after Andrew, when the Stefan went and organized this salsa concert.
Right.
And instead of shelling out a couple of millions, they went out and organized the salsa concert.
You know, these performers are making hundreds of millions of dollars. They had a thing on the other day, this fat Oprah Winfrey bitch. She made, I think, $117 million last year, some obscene amount for what I have no idea. And, you know, they could, as a tax write-off, each donate $1 million to a variety of different charities instead of, like, putting on this act, which they do for public relations, to give the appearance that they're so concerned and they're such great activists and they're so right.
Actually, do you
like
know...
Michael Jackson is so concerned about the children of the world, which he is if he can do them and he's attracted to them. But other than that, that's the extent of his interest.
That's true. Actually, I was living in New York. You remember when Stefan had the accident and she hurt her back?
Yeah.
Well, she was admitted to a hospital in New York. I was living there. And in New York City, most of the hospital has Filipino nurses. Like 75% of the nurses are from the Philippines. And this lady was so thankful for the nursing care that she received that instead of giving a check to the nurses, she went out and donated $10,000 to the government of the Philippines. What would the 50 million poor people, the Philippines, were going to do with the $10,000?
I'll tell you, she could have bought a lot of pairs of shoes for those Filipino nurses with 10 grand.
Exactly, and just shut up your mouth. But no, most of the Hispanic newspapers and radio went crazy. Like,
they just lick her from head to toe. Even when they killed that guy in the boat, you know, they're just obsessed with her.
Oh, my God.
See, Rick Sanchez goes out and runs a guy over in his car, and right away they're picking on poor Rick Sanchez because the guy died, just in case you didn't know. But Gloria and her husband, they go out there and they kill some guy on a speedboat, and right away she's a great activist, and she's worried about boating safety, and the boat of them are great people, et cetera, and so on. You know,
it's like a saint. I mean,
she can
so
do no
ridiculous.
wrong. Yeah.
I think she's well overblown. I mean, it's not like Luis Miguel. He's stuck to Hispanic.
I don't know if he's overblown or not, but...
No, but what I'm
like
saying is that he's been singing only Spanish songs, and he stick with his Spanish song. He never went to the famous crossover where we're looking for the
but you're wrong about that. I mean, I'd be the first one to defend Luis, but the only reason that they have resisted that is because he can't speak English. I mean, he speaks very wetback English. And you notice in one rendition of America, he sings a couple of choruses there in English, but that's about the extent of it. And they just, you know, it's really sad, too, because he grew up in an entertainment family. His father was Luis Rey, as I'm sure you know. And you would have thought that since he was like a singer and movie guy, and from being a kid, that one of the things, if they had a little bit of vision, they would have taught him English from when he was a kid, when it's much easier to learn another language. Yeah. But it's unfortunately an impediment, although he is, no matter Italy, Spain, wherever you go all over the world, he's gigantic, so he's still making a few pesos.
Yeah. Anyway, I love your show, and I hope you don't have a bunch of calls now from Hispanic calling comunista, 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 because we offended the Stefans.
Too bad.
Take care, Neil. Have a good weekend.
And back to you.
Bye.
Okay, boy, it's really grim today, man. It is really grim. They must all either be at Rosa Lopez's house or on their way to Shul tonight, one or the other. It is very, very grim. And I don't understand. Please don't tell me that you don't have an opinion on all these different things that I've been asking about. It's not possible. It isn't possible. But But they just, it's like the thing with Hank Goldberg, and now all of a sudden the thing with Phil Hendrie. All of a sudden, all these people who have been for the last 2 years resisting and fighting me every time I tell them that nobody in their right mind with a sense of humor and any taste whatsoever would be listening to the Humper at the same time that Phil was on. And now yesterday they're coming on and, well, you know, Rick, you suck, and Neil, you're okay while we're doing the gardening. You know, you're like an old soft shoe. But Phil's the greatest thing in the history of the market. Why is it now that he's leaving they finally are discovering this, as opposed to when I was trying to sell it to him that, oh, well, you know, the Humper, Humper what? The Humper blows. 751 WIOD 524-9463 in Broward. 2 on the green lines, 1-800-944 WIOD. And, of course, in Broward, Lorenzo's Italian Center on the corner of 163rd and Dixie Highway in North Miami Beach, and Ben and Bob's in the Indian Trace Shopping Center in Weston have more of their great specials this week. At Lorenzo's, save $2 a pound on fresh USDA prime T-bones or porterhouse steaks. They're just $8.99 a pound. Formula milk-fed shoulder veal cutlets are only $3.99 a pound. And try the 98% fat-free boar's head lower salt ham, perfect for the Atkins diet, for just $5.99 a pound. Lorenzo's also has an 8-ounce package of delicious all-natural kosher New England smoked king salmon for only $9.99. And flown in from Italy, chocolate-covered cream-filled profiteroles for only $1 each. What are those? It's candy. But what is it? Is it like truffles? Well, go and find out. Lorenzo's also has microbrewed beers on sale like Rattlesnake for $8.99 a six-pack, named after Rick Riley. Naked Aspen Ale, $6.99 a six-pack. And Three Finger Jack for $5.99 a six-pack, for those of you who like doing the Three Finger Jack. Over at Ben and Bob's, pick up large sweet for only 49 cents a pound. Sweet California, not those three fingers, George. That, well, Bob Dole can do it. Sweet California plums, only 69 cents a pound. Rainbow trout and bay scallops and trouser trout, only $4.99 a pound. And kingfish steaks, only $3.99 a pound. Remember Kingfish on Amos and Andy? He'd be good. Lorenzo's in North Miami Beach, Ben and Bob's in Weston, where the good stuff is waiting on you right now.
There's a new Dolphins player coin available this week, only at Miami Subs. Collectible coins and trading cards to celebrate the history of the Miami Dolphins. Now for Miami Subs at News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.